Huh, morning, Dan. Let's scoop the Warlock a bit. Maybe we'll rope him here and there.
Gul'dan versus Jaina.
We'll kind of react based on what they do.
Shall be mine.
I greet you.
He's just struggling, dude. He's never seen this play, so I guess we rope him from here on. He's going to really struggle to find the plays, I guarantee you. Sure. Point and intellect. Yeah, you can have all the cards in your deck in your hand at the moment if you want them.
You are defenders of a doom. Your bones to gnaw on. In a trap. Surprise.
Your turn. Dude, I'm going to have to take a break after this one even. Shit, I thought I had more guys die.
Hop in, the pit is churning.
Obviously, you can't win. But once he realizes that, I'm going to scoop. And then I'm going to go smoke. Sure. Board's clear. You're at 12. No board.
What is it?
Quash the mud.
Damn. He scooped. Boys, I'm tired. I've had 6 beers. I figured I'd just stream a couple of these games I'm playing. I'm playing them anyway, so may as well put them out there, stream them. Just playing the Warlock, and well, you'll see what I'm doing here. Play one more and have a smoke after that.
shall be mine.
I greet you.
That's right.
Well
Feel
met.
the groove.
What is it?
Sure, we're gonna lock him out on turn 2 about.
You here for the tour?
So generous.
Sure, you have a Yogg and a whatever, 3/4.
We'll fight back these brutes.
So generous. Really, it's not too heavy.
We should have played that actually, because I can't play this in 2 cards next turn.
We'll fight back these brutes.
The light dims, but we fight.
Surprise! 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 That already attacked.
He's so fucked. Look at him, he's on 4 mana.
Defense is a great defense.
Sure.
May the light grant you peace. More bones to knock.
Defense is a great defense.
He doesn't seem that bad, really.
Howdy keeping that.
Strike! Then strike harder!
We're dead.
Well,
That'll happen. Oh, I'm gonna have smoke. Hope you're having a great day so far. Here, Thursday, September the 16th, 2021, they say. 2021 001 000.001. So we got our camera tilted just a bit here. We have some trouble with this cam. Getting it right straight, I suppose. But yeah, we've got pretty much the nuts here. Our Shaman, Warlock, Demon Hunter. We're ready for these MTQs this weekend here. I finally did make the Warlock, as I've known really since the start of the season. You have to run Warlock in your lineup. Same for Shaman. It took me a week to put Shaman in my lineup, and it took me about 2 weeks. I knew I needed to do it, make Warlock, and we've done it here. And this deck is just, I mean, I'm really crapping on them on the ladder. If I had to compare it to a Magic deck, kind of like Rising Waters in Magic the Gathering, you lock them out. Even more similar than that, there used to be a combo in Weatherlight. I forget the two cards. It was like a white enchantment and an artifact. You'd lock them out of the game. Like Sands of Time was the artifact, and I forget the white enchantment, Celestial Alignment, or there's a guy up there at the local game store. His name was Ken. He'd run it every time, and pretty much he stomped him. He was kind of like a control blue-white deck, but every once in a while he'd pull his combo off with the Sands of Time, and you couldn't beat it. If he got it in play, it was all over. And this deck, it kind of locks him out with the Revenant Rascal, actually, is what does it. This card is, if you're on the play, this card is insane. Obviously, if you're on the draw, if you're on the come, if you're second to play, this guy's awful. He's terrible. You don't want him. But if you're on the play, he pretty much locks your opponent out. He's like the nuts. He's the nuts when you're on the play. So knowing that, you know if you're on the play, keep him every time. If you're on the draw, just ship him and hope for the best. Hope you don't see him. But yeah. Obviously, no one's running the Mailbox Dancer at this point in time. I knew when I saw him, well, it was something to him. Obviously, as a World of Warcraft player, I appreciated kind of the name, the reference, the art, a Mailbox Dancer. But it only occurred to me a few days, maybe 24, 48 hours ago. He's like a wand maker. 2 mana for instead of a 2/2, you get a 3/2, and instead of a random 1 cost, you always get the coin, which is insane. And yeah, your opponent will get him when he dies, but it's kind of like first to market. I get the coin first, you get it later. I'll use it better than you will. And on top of that, yeah, they don't even get it until they kill him, which really, sometimes they don't. So he's insane. You want him in every deck, the Mailbox Dancer. He's just the nuts. And of course, right here in this world line of 2021 September, no one's even playing the Mailbox Dancer. No one even, you see him every once in a while, kind of a kooky deck. They never really use them well. And I suppose I could talk with anyone about the Dancer, and in this day and age, you go in somebody's channel, you tell them, hey, why don't you play Mailbox Dancer? What do you think of him? And in the sarcastic kind of age we live in, no one will even engage you on the Dancer. You're memeing, the Dancer sucks, So quite a bit different than it was, say, in 1975. You come up with an idea, people think, oh, I didn't think of that. Well, what does he want? Or even up words. We're going to take a small little short break here. I'll be running this Warlock deck. It's pretty much the same as you see on the ladder. Obviously, you mulligan the quest. You don't need that turn 1. I don't know how. Still, no one's figured that out. That's like kind of step 1. You're playing the quest in your deck. Well, what if you mulligan it? What does that do? Pretty much all the same abusive cards. Flesh Giant, Goldshire Null, Baron Scavenger. They're the big ones. Soul Rend, which is just an insane card. Just utterly imbalanced. If you have 2 of them in your Warlock deck, you're causing your opponent a real tough time, pretty much regardless how you build it. No one's discussing the Rascal at this point in time. We all know backfires and balance. And you got Tour Guide, Dancer, Ticketus. He fits right in. Everyone's kind of forgotten about how absurd of a man he is. Whether you corrupt him or not, he's kind of doing you favors. And a couple little pet cards you might say in here, or even cards that people aren't. You got the peasant. Now, what do you do if your opponent, doesn't matter what deck you're playing, what format, what do you do if your opponent drops a turn 1 peasant? Well, he's kind of put you in a bit of a pickle, hasn't he? You got to kill it, or he's going to get the value on the peasants, and it's kind of tough to kill a 2/1 when you're on the come. On the draw, you might have to use your coin to do it, or at the very worst, it trades card for a card. So it's kind of the nuts, especially in this deck with peasants. And the studies, you want them in any deck. Always play your studies. This kind of is imbalanced what the studies do in any class. But yeah, there it is. I'll be back. We're running some Warlock today, boys. Pardon me. I need a spittoon is what I need. I've requested one many times from various people. Yeah, they'll catch me going, whoopooey, spitting. I'll say, yeah, I need a spittoon here. You know, back in the West, they used to have one. Of course, a spittoon has many values. You can roll around on it, flip it up, looks like a vase, a vase. You can sell it. It's made of whatever, gold, whatever is valuable at the time. And yeah, you can empty it out, put water in it, store it. A spittoon is really multifunctional. Let's see if anybody's online. I might farm some content here. Let's throw on an old poker VOD. We still actually haven't even watched the thing the whole way through, you know. I'm working on this for about a week here in the channel. So you've been tuning in since the beginning. You still haven't even seen the end, quote unquote, of me playing some poker. And $10 no limit. 10 United States dollars no limit here. I think it says about 2016 or so. So I guess you do the math and conversions on exactly what that means. I think we're playing on Ignition, which used to at the time was called Bovada. So you might obviously the software's been changed and updated, but it was Bovada. Yeah, it's a 3-hour video, and we're about 2 hours, 2.5 hours in. So I guess we got about half an hour of footage here to run. Enjoy. It looks like we have Queen 8 off, bottom right, and the cutoff, and top left, top right, nothing. Sorry, bottom left, top right, nothing going on. We're out of the hand, and the top left we flopped a pair of aces. It seems. It looks like we're from the cutoff against the big blind. So yeah, on that kind of flop, ace 4-3, we got him down. There's no reason really to put much money in. He's running 73 VPIP. You might as well check it down. You're going to get at most one bet. Let him bet it, or maybe bet the river. You can check the whole thing down. So it's not like you're really going to win or lose a whole lot of money in this spot. Just kind of get to showdown, see what he's calling you with pre-flop. Show him you're kind of a checky, kind of loose, passive donk, maybe in his eyes. So I'd check it down, but I'm sure back in this day I probably bet the flop, or if I probably check the flop, but I probably bet the turn, which I think is probably a mistake. Queen 8 off, that's an open from the cutoff here in the bottom right. So let's see how we played it out back in the day, where I can pretty much predict I opened the Queen 8 off, certainly from the cutoff, probably 3x, and I'm sure I checked in the top left, the flop. And obviously these other two tables don't matter because I wasn't in a hand at the time.
Oh well. We open Queen 8 offsuit, bottom right table, and the cutoff. Button folds. All these guys are playing very tight. Small blind calls, and the big blind calls. So I actually put the small blind on a decent hand when he calls here, either like, you know, big cards or a pocket pair. The flop's pretty wet, 7-5-3, but also it can be pretty dry. They both check to me, I think. We'll see what happens. The small blind checks. They both check to me, I just c-bet it. Even if the small blind, if we were heads up, I would probably check. If I was just heads up with the small blind. But if I bet here, it puts a lot of pressure on the small blind because the big blind's still left ag behind him, and he's going to have to fold like overcards, and maybe even some small pairs. And they both fold. And you can see up here, he's going to min bet this river and take the pot.
Oh, we timed out of it. Look at that. We timed out of the hand, doing too much. Even before tabling, I timed out when I had him beat.
All right, I'm sorry, boys. I have to use the restroom.
I had to pee. I apparently had to pee too. That's why we timed out of the top left. That'll cost you your entire hour of playing, making a misplay like that. Cost myself what, three big blinds? You're making maybe one big blind an hour per 4 tables. I mean, a mistake like that, you may as well quit for the day. You can't really make even up. Always, empty your facilities. Go ahead and use the restroom before you start playing for money and shit. Of course, I never took it seriously at all. $10. There's some VODs of me playing $1,000, and there's VODs of me playing Bitcoin. Say, at the time it was, a fraction of a Bitcoin. Not too much of a fraction, honestly. I bought in for a Bitcoin. They're on Seals with Clubs before our government so kindly shut them down. And Brian Micron. You can ask all about Brian Micron, micro stakes, Brian Micron, and Micron, Mikehron, the Magic player, Micron, and of course you have always Paul
Get back to the
Novery,
action here.
Danny Walston, and Scott Rosen. You can ask them. They did it, not me. I blame them. I got a gun to their head and one to mine. It's
We
a
have King
mutually
5
assured
offsuit and a
destruction
small
between
blind.
the four of us.
Able to be check folding that. Though actually, this hand, small blind checks, and he did. We should probably bet this flop. It's a 3 BB pot. There's a limper, small blind, and me. It's a very uncoordinated flop. You should probably be betting this flop. Trying to take it down. Actually, I think I do bet it, and it's arguable if you should even try to, though, because this limper is quite loose. It seems very loose passive. You might peel with just about anything. So it's quite close if you just bet this or check it. I think I instinctively bet it, and we do get called, so we just give it up. Okay, bottom right table we have Jack 10 offsuit and the small blind. And it's folded us. We're certainly going to open this hand from the small blind. We make it 3x. And the big blind folds. Jack 4 offsuit in the bottom left and the small blind. It's going to click the fold button there. King 7 suited now on the button, bottom right. Definitely a hand I'm almost certainly going to be playing unless there's a raise and a re-raise. The cutoff open raises. He's playing pretty tight. Looks like he's 18-10 or 10-10 over 11 hands, but nonetheless we will defend our button with King 7 suited here. It easily could be a better hand than what the cutoff is opening with. But certainly with position, you want to be playing this hand. And we do just flat them. It's very annoying to someone, especially good players, when they're in the cutoff, and you have the button and you just flat their steals. It really fucks them up. It's a great play. However, the small blind comes along and the flop's ace high. I believe he c-bets here, and because we're not heads up, we will just fold. Queen 2 offsuit, top right table. There's no small blind, but the under the gun player is open to 3x, so it's an easy fold. Also, Queen 2 offsuit in the bottom left table, same thing. Has been a raise, easy fold. Jack 5 suited, top left table. Has been an open raise, so we'll just fold that. Big blind. 9-5 offsuit. We're not going to steal with that, even though with how tight these other players are playing, and it is a pretty bad table. This probably is an open raise with the 9-5 offsuit in the bottom right, but we fold it. We raise it. Good call. We got Queen 7 suited in the bottom left table. We open raise that. And we get called by this guy who turns out to be pretty loose. We only played 9 hands with him, but this guy, pay attention to him. He'll actually be the last hand that we play tonight, or do a replay analysis of. I'm actually going to go into quite a bit of detail on it. I've drawn up something on MS Paint, quite lovely drawing, but it'll involve this player, seat 3, in the bottom left table. So we'll just keep that in mind. But we opened with Queen 7 suited, and he called in the big blind. Flops 10-6-5, pretty wet flop, and he checks to us. We'll get back to this pocket kings hand and this ace 4 suited hand, but just to say at the start, this pocket kings hand, there's a limper. We've got pocket kings in the small blind. This button opens and we 3-bet, and everyone folds. This ace 4 suited hand, this guy opens under the gun, and I think I flat here in middle position. This guy's playing pretty tight, and this guy behind us is quite loose passive. So, but with the Queen 7 suited hand, he checks to us. The big blind does, and we'll have to see what I do here. I think the correct play is to check behind. We'll see what I do. We knew at the time he was playing 67-11, so pretty loose. And I do just check behind, and the turn's 2. So we're pretty much just going to be giving the hand up if he bets. We only have queen high. We did flat with ace 4 suited, and we have pocket queens on the button up here at the top left. I don't think that hand goes anywhere either, but pretty clear, like open raise. So here at the bottom left, he's still thinking about that deuce. He bets 6.5 BBs. It's over pot. He bets 6.5 BBs into a 6 BB pot, so we just fold. We open the queens, everyone folds. The ace 4 suited hand's pretty interesting, but okay. So everyone folded, so we're heads up with this pretty tight player, and he bets on the flop 58 cents, so 5.8 BBs into a 72 cent pot, 7.2 BBs. So pretty big bet, but pretty standard C bet actually. We flopped bottom pair, but we've got the ace overcard as well as a backdoor flush draw. So we're certainly going to peel the flop. Turns a deuce, doesn't change anything. I think this guy will play his hand fairly face up, fairly see-through. So if he bets on the turn, I'm folding. If he checks, I'm betting. The turn. Top left, we have queen 8 offsuit. We open that in the cutoff, pretty standard. And in the bottom right, we've got queen 5 offsuit. It was in the big blind, so nothing to say about that hand. We're just going to be check folding it. So back to the top right, we've got this guy who opened. It was under the gun in a 5-handed game. He bet the flop, and now he's betting again on the turn, so we're just going to snap fold. Nothing to say about the bottom right or the bottom left. And again, we've got this queen 8 offsuit that we opened to the cutoff. Everyone folded. And now we've got 8-6 offsuit under the gun, 5-handed, but these two players behind us are quite loose. I think this is a fold at the top right. It looks like this top right table is bugged out as well. I cannot rebuy at it. Yep. Top left, we have 10-8 offsuit. There's an open under the gun, so we're going to fold there. We fold to the 8-6 offsuit. We have 9-10 offsuit in the bottom right and the small blind. It's folded us, so we're definitely going to open into the big blind. 9-10 offsuit is a fairly decent hand. Then we got pocket aces bottom left. I think this table in the bottom left goes heads up for a little while, so maybe it's a different player, and this is definitely this seat 3. But we'll see. So we got pocket aces heads up, obvious raise. Then we have 9-10 offsuit. There's been a min raise, 2 callers, so we're just going to call this min raise. We're just getting great pot odds. This family pot, 10 cents to win 90 cents. So we're getting 9-1 pre-flop on our call. Here we have aces. This hand plays out pretty interestingly. I won't talk too much about it. We flop the nuts, and this guy tries to play with us a little bit. We're basically just trying to get him to... He raises on the flop. We're going to 3-bet him, and we're just trying to like get him to put it all in. I think I check the turn and he checks behind. And then we just shove the river. He has a 5. We'll see what happens when the river gets there, but I just wound up shoving the river. Up here we flopped with the 10-9. You know, we called in the big blind. Flop pretty much just missed us, so we're just going to check fold. We have a gut shot to the nuts, but yeah, it's a 5-way pot. We'll just check it. So yeah, this guy raises us in the bottom left to $1. We 3-bet him to $2. I was hoping to get him to get a monkey off here. He's almost certainly just bluffing, or he's got a 5. Either way, if he's bluffing, let's just re-bet him or re-raise him. Hope he keeps bluffing, or because he's just going to fold otherwise. If he has a bluff, it'll be done. Or if he has a 5, let's make sure we get it all in. So he just calls, and I think he's bluffing most of the time. So I just check the turn. I'm out of position. I'm in the small blind. I just check the turn to him. He checks behind very quickly. And then the river's a 4, and pretty much he either has a 5, in which case he's going to get it all in no matter what, or he was bluffing, in which case he's just going to fold. He actually thinks for a long time, so maybe he did actually have the case ace, the 4th ace. But certainly the play is to shove the river. It's an overbet shove, but it's the right call. And yeah, nothing going on up here in the top right table. So he thinks for a long time. So it is the seat 3 in the bottom left table, but it wasn't that particular player. It'll be a new player in that seat when this hand comes up. So yeah, bottom left he tanks and he folds. So. Bottom right table, I wound up timing out on the flop. We just bet the turn and everyone folds. You should probably c-bet this flop though. Top right table, we got king queen offsuit in the small blind. We don't have a full stack. It's not letting me rebuy to a full stack on that table. Bottom left, it's a heads up hand. It's a little interesting. I think he turns a king. I think he has king queen and he turns a king. We bet the flop and the turn for value and just check down the river. So we open the king queen off into this big blind. He's quite loose. Flops 9-4-4. I think the best play is just check call most of the time. I wouldn't c-bet this with the king high. It just doesn't accomplish much. It's not really for value. It's not really a bluff to bet here. I mean, you have to be comfortable just checking after you raise. You don't need to always c-bet. So we check it to him. I think he just bets pot and we just fold. Yeah, he pots it 6 BBs into a 6 BB pot, 5.7 BB pot, so we just fold. So we have Jack Queen offsuit. This tight aggressive player is running like 28-22. He opens in middle position to 3x. We'll certainly flat him here. By no means are we dominated by his range. His range, we could even actually probably dominate his range with Queen Jack offsuit here. And the small blind comes along. Three ways, flop 774. I think we actually time out here. I was typing a lot in the chat. They both check to us, though. I think betting here is legitimate. Probably I would just normally bet, not think about it. But given the small blind is really loose, I think it's actually fine just to check this flop. Because it's the type of flop the small blind is going to peel a lot on. Obviously, this guy has nothing. But I think it's fine to check here, see how it develops, and maybe just steal on the turn. And we have pocket threes down here in the bottom right. We opened under the gun and the big blind is very tight. Actually, we have no stats on the big blind whatsoever. So the big blind called us. Flops king 9-4, pretty standard C bet here. And with the queen jack hand, this guy bets very small, 2 BBs on the turn, and this guy calls them, so we just fold our queen jack. No, it looks like I time out with these pocket threes. Typing. Whenever someone's timed out, if you bet, they'll be automatically folded unless they rejoin the hand, so certainly just bet right into them and they'll fold. Any bets, we fold. We're timed out. So we just really have two tables going right now. This bottom left and the top right. We have ace-3 offsuit on the button, but here comes the table starting to fill up now, and this is the C3 that we're going to discuss a hand with. We opened queen-9 offsuit in the cutoff, standard open. And we opened our ace-3 offsuit heads up on the button, pretty standard. He 3-bets us, so we're just going to fold it. Up here in the top right, we open queen-9 offsuit, the button calls us. He's pretty loose, he's playing 55% of his hands. But queen 9 offsuit has too much value to fold in the cutoff, so you just want to open raise it. And the small blind 3-bets us, so we're just done. Button fold as well. Here we open queen 2 offsuit. We're playing 3-handed. It's a pretty standard open on the button. Queen deuce, and we get 3-bet by the small blind. I'm just going to fold. King 3 suited, yeah, I'm examining the rest of the table. I see there's 2 loose players behind me at this top right table, so I fold my King 3 suited in middle position. And we're going to fold this Queen 2 offsuit, but this big blind, he comes along. And you'll see he's going to he's going to play 100% of his hands. And I think it's about 10 hands or so that we have a hand with him. So this guy posts in under the gun at a 4-handed table, so we know he's bad. He's only got about 70 BBs. And he checks, small blind calls, and we just check our 5-3. Should probably bet this flop. I think I check it though. And we do take it down with our pair of 3s on the turn. We turned. But I think it's a flop bet. Jack 7 offsuit in the small blind, under the gun, cut off, raises. Button calls. He does play 100% of his hands, so you see seat 3 in every hand. We're just going to fold small blind. Top right table, we open deuces under the gun, and it's a family pot, or not family, 4 ways. We're in the worst position. We check, we miss the flop. This guy min bets, so we're just gonna, just for pure pot odds, implied odds as well, but really pot odds wise, you're about 22 to 1, 23 to 1 to hit on the turn. You're set with just 1 card, but on the flop, you'll see this guy min bets So our actual pot odds to call, it's only 10 cents to call at a chance at winning $1.47. So we're getting about 15 to 1 on our call, and we only need 23 to 1 for the call to be profitable. But with all the implied odds, I mean, we have, you know, 2 full stacks here. We certainly want to chase our 2 outer. And we miss, so we check again, and this guy makes a legitimate bet on the turn. So we're just going to fold. Here, this really loose guy opens to 3.5x in the cutoff. We fold our 8-2 suited on the button. And he shows pocket 7, so clearly he's looking for action. He wants to show his hand. Queen 3 offsuit, we're playing 4-handed, so this is the type of hand you want to open on the cutoff. And I have to leave this top right table because it's not letting me rebuy. We get 3-bet by the button and the blind shoves, the big blind shoves, and they're flipping. And yeah, I think that's the end of this guy, and this guy's now doubled up. He's got a big stack. He's playing 100% of his hands. It's pretty juicy. We got position on him. And we do wind up tangoing with him a bit. He opens king 8 offsuit. We're certainly going to defend that in the big blind. He opens to 4x. We're going to defend that. It's a 100% call. And we flop top pair, so we're pretty much all in. And there's no way he can get us off this hand. I think he pots the flop. I think he bets 8. Yeah, he bets 9 BBs into a 7.5 BB flop. So he overbets the flop. We're just going to snap call. We turn to king, so I mean it's like way the nuts. He checks to us. I forget how the hand plays out. I think we bet the turn, and he calls, and then the river's a 9, and he check folds the river. We bet real small in the river, and he check folds. So he was chasing something or had a very weak hand and didn't want to give us the value. The pot is about 50 BBs, and we bet about 14 BBs into it. So very small river bet, looking for some value, and he folds. Bottom right, we have Jack Queen offsuit. The button open raises, and he's playing very loose but not aggressive. So you just want to fold Jack Queen offsuit in the small blind there. Let the button have his money. It is his button after all. 8-6 offsuit in the small blind. Again, seat 3, the button opens, so we'll fold that. This is the one hand where he will have position on us. We're in the small blind, and he has the button, so we just let him have that. No sense in fighting over it. We've got ace-queen offsuit in this guy. He's playing 25-25, but he's obviously not a good player. He's open min-raising, so we'll just pot him in position with the ace-queen offsuit. Just as a pure value re-raise. And then the flop is queen 9-9. Great flop for us. I think he bets 6 BBs, so kind of a donk bet into about a 15, 16 BB pot. Small donk bet, and I think I just 3x it. I think he bets 6 BBs, and I make it 18 BBs, and he folds. But we were definitely all in with his hand. All right, we got 7-6 offsuit on the button. This is a hand I definitely want to play. And no surprise, the button open raises, so I'm just going to smooth flat call the 7-6 offsuit on the button. And yeah, here's this guy. He's betting 6x, 6 BBs, so we're going to raise it. I raise it to 19 BBs. And he folds, so we flat the 7-6 offsuit. Flops top pair, flops 7-5 deuce, and he checks to us, so we've got pretty much the nuts again. But unfortunately, the board runs out 2 spades. We bet the flop and the turn. He check calls the flop and check calls the turn. But the board runs out 2 spades, and he shoves the river. Now, honestly, I think you actually might... I think he's probably bluffing this river with this shove maybe 40, 50, 60% of the time. So if he's bluff shoving 50% of the time, then you have an obvious plus EV call. You only have to win 50% of the time. If you think they're bluffing 50% of the time, then perfect, call them. You actually only have to win about 40% of the time. So if they're bluffing 50, 60% of the time, it's an easy plus EV call on the river. But no, I just fold. I just fold to him when he's going to snap shove the river. But yeah, we bet the turn, he calls, and then he shoves the river.
It's a long VOD. It seems we won't finish it even today. 10 more minutes now. No, we've seen enough. Let's just let's play this a little. We're gonna get DMCA'd for sure, but it's time to introduce, or rather, for me to play a little Spotify. So be it.
Done. Perfect.
Oh, Paladin. That's a buy.
I will fight with honor. Your soul shall be mine.
Okay.
This ship is taking me far away.
Hopefully he plays fast.
Get rid of this, man.
They all play so slow, dude. It just makes you not want to play. Okay, you have nothing else to do. Sure, you're so fucked you don't even know it. I'm gonna scoop to you on turn 5.
Well, I'm getting up when the sun goes down. And I shot 'em up, and I hit the town. Well, I trim it clean, then I roll it up. And then I take it nice and slow. So what the fuck, man? Just give me the time, and I'll get you right. You just might have to push your luck tonight. A shot of sound pull me through. And then I'll fly my magic carpet on over to you, baby. Yeah. I'm gonna let the stars go either way. And I'm gonna drop in on your palace, and I'm gonna be your slave. That's right. 'Cause I live it up in the Bermuda Dunes. And I stain the sand of this land with all the blood that I lose. A little sugar will set me free. Yeah, set me free. But you got some spice,
might beat me with the battle mask. We're dead yet. Kind of rough on the draw. It really is in this game. You need to be on the play.
Had a dream I ran to you, and I saw my fortune in your eyes. So I gave up all my heart to you, kept my soul and threw away my pride.
That little panic coming for sure. The dark glare. Hell, turn 2, 3, 4 is pretty good.
Had a dream I ran to you. All your brown blood kept me sane. When your J gate opened up, I walked in and felt no pain. Give it to me all for free. In your eyes I see what's mine.
Sure.
So I run my fingers through your long hair. Dark as the night when the stars refuse to shine, refuse to shine.
You can't win from here, for sure. He's still fighting, boys. God bless him. He really thinks he can win this game. I even got the quest in play.
Really, it's not too heavy.
This is gonna be real nasty news for him. That's kind of problematic. Huh.
So generous.
Win lose for sure, I think. I don't know how this happened. Maybe they need some tuning. If we need to somehow wipe those 1-3s, I don't think this deck can do it. Anyway, I think I'm gonna take a break. Just want to say hello here on September 16th, 2021. Hope you're having a great morning, afternoon, or night. Yeah, 2016. That was recorded, Mr. Blevins. How's your morning going? There's no way we can win. We just have nothing.
To the smell.
Anyway, I just want to sign in for a minute while we've been streaming here. Oh, an entire hour. Well, 1 hour in the log books, recorded, data uploaded, and so on and so forth. Here for this 9:14 a.m. It says there in the desktop window. 9/14, 9/16, 2021. Hope you're having a great one from here in Memphis, Tennessee. Have a great rest of your morning, afternoon, or night, wherever, whenever you are. Lots of love. Good night.